Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dracula series. I want you to be fully with me. Get comfy, grab snacks, and turn on your imagination. And to get the best experience, do a boring activity or get ready to sleep while you're listening. So, put your phone away, wear your AirPods, and let's dive in. Chapter 2. A Strange Evening. Weeks passed. Jonathan continued to spend his time in the same way. He slept late, ate breakfast, and read most of the day in the library. He went to sleep late after sitting by the fire each evening, talking with his host. Count Dracula told him all about the history of his family and country. It appeared the Dracula family was all over Transylvania. The Count also talked of England, ships, trains, and the law. Jonathan was surprised to hear how knowledgeable he was. The Count needed to send his thing to England and wanted to know the best town to send it through. That was the closest and easiest to get to London. I believe Whiteby would be the best, Jonathan said. Mina, my girlfriend, and her best friend Lucy are going to travel there soon for a vacation. It is a great old fishing town close to Carfax. The Count was interested in Whiteby and Jonathan's girlfriend. So, tell me more about your girlfriend, Mr. Hawker, the Count said. Well, we are going to marry one day. She's the woman I love, Jonathan answered, showing the Count a picture he carried of her. This is Mina, and the other girl is Lucy, her friend. The Count looked at the picture and smiled. They are both very pretty girls. I am sure your Mina will want to hear from you. Have you written to her yet? I want to, but I have not had much time, Jonathan said. Well, write one now, the Count said, handing Jonathan some paper and pen. I also want you to write to Mr. Hawkins and tell him I will need you another month. Jonathan became pale. You are asking me to stay longer? Yeah, of course, the Count said, smiling. I need you to look after my business, and since it is very complicated, it takes a long time and makes the visit necessarily long. So, the Count said, pushing the paper and envelopes to Jonathan. Start writing, and please only write about business in your letters. The Count said, pushing the paper and envelopes to Jonathan. Start writing, and please only write about business in your letters. Tell them you are doing very well, of course. When Jonathan finished his letters, the Count took them, but before he left, he said, I know you like to explore the house sometimes, Mr. Hawker. Please, be careful, and if you go into any other part of the castle, do not fall asleep there. This castle is old and strange. Strange things can happen. You will have very bad dreams. You are safe in your own bedroom. Jonathan still wanted to leave. That night, he knew the big front door was probably locked, as usual. He went to check. I think the Count has the key in his room, he thought. He didn't know where the Count's room was, so he began to walk around checking doors. Most led to nowhere. Then, at the end of a short passage, he saw a door and tried to open it. When he pushed on it, the door opened. It led up some stairs, and he found a beautiful room lit by the moon. He seemed to be next to his own. There was a window in the room, and he put his head out and smelled the night air. It was nice, but as he was enjoying it, He noticed movement under him. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. There was Count Dracula climbing out the window below, his clothes flying in the wind. He crawled like a cat on the wall, using the small places between the stones with his thin fingers and toes. "I must be dreaming," Jonathan said to himself. "This can't be happening." He couldn't think clearly after he saw the Count running through the trees. When he got to the bottom, he was weak, and he saw a bed in the corner of the room. He decided to lie down for a while to relax before going back to his own room to think. He became sleepy, and his eyes started to close. Then he felt he was not alone. Jonathan looked over and saw 3 women standing in the dark across the room. They were looking at him and talking in low voices. They were all very beautiful and had long white teeth, like the Count's. Their eyes were shining as they moved towards him. He didn't feel afraid, but excited. He wanted them to come and touch him. When they were next to the bed, one of the girls moved to be closer to his neck. He could feel her breath on his face and her 2 sharp teeth moving towards his neck. He closed his eyes. Just as he felt the teeth touch his neck, there was a loud noise, and the door opened. Jonathan opened his eyes and saw a tall, dark figure next to his bed. It was the Count. He was very angry. "Don't you listen?" the Count shouted. "I told you never touch him. I will have him first. He is mine." The Count picked up one of the girls and pushed her across the room. "Then what did you bring us tonight?" one of the girls asked hungrily. Count Dracula pushed a bag he brought with him across the floor. Something was moving inside. It sounded like a baby. The women ran to the bag and fought over it like hungry animals. The baby was crying. Then it was quiet. Jonathan fell asleep when a strange green mist filled the room.